So Nike, we always talk about this, right? How they don't do their research with certain things, like how they came up with the backwards Puerto Rican flag one year. It was something else that they did, but Nike, it's funny, like them
using
being
the post office logo.
They're the number one.
That got settled too.
They're the number one brand in the world, but sometimes they do things that just make you question, like how. Nike celebrates Greek goddess of victory, but misspells their own name. Now, the company, for those that don't know, it's an article. We'll go over it. An article written by, I'm about to butcher this guy's name.
Oh, shit.
An article written on the GreekReporter.com. Nike, whose brand name derives from the Greek goddess of the same name, meaning victory, celebrated the goddess by releasing a pair of Air Force Ones. Now, as the article said already, Nike got his name from the Greek goddess. Is it Nike? How is it pronounced really? Is it Nike, whatever? It's based. The swoosh is based on her wings and whatnot, and so Nike is literally based on like Greek mythology in some way. Anyway, Nike recently released images of the shoe, but Greek speakers were quick to spot that at the heel of the left sneaker, an inscription in Greek, which was apparently supposed to read Nike Air, was misspelled. Many were left wondering, was this a colossal mistake or a made-up word that just looks Greek for marketing purposes? Some people took to social media to complain about the obvious blunder. Is there any way you can pull up that shoe?
Which one?
It's the Greek Air Force One.
While he's looking that up, there's a Greek skate shop, I forgot the name, Color something, that just designed a high-top dunk, and it's one of the worst SBs I've ever seen. It's based off like a kebab.
Wow, okay.
Yeah,
Ugh,
coming
gross.
soon.
Where we at?
There's bad things coming out of Greece, huh?
So some people went to social media to complain. Others, like this one lady named Angie Exitis, started a petition to keep Nike from releasing the sneaker. She said, currently the sneakers spell Pix and not Nike. This is cultural appropriation. We are asking Nike to preserve and respect Greek culture and history by accurately using the Greek alphabet when writing and referring to the goddess Nike. This snafu comes on the heels of Nike earlier this year terminating their contract with retailers in Greece. A spokesperson at the Nike Dutch European HQ confirmed that Nike's strategy in Greece will involve a smaller number of partners. The spokesperson also added that the decision was taken in the context of their consumer direct acceleration strategy, which involves prioritizing investment through Nike's digital channels, basically direct to consumer. It's everywhere now. Nike has established 22 Nike stores in Greece, 15 of which were managed by Foley, a Greek-based international company whose founder was jailed pending trial, accused of falsifying the company's financial data. He must have come from Under Armour. These contracts are expiring since the company is unable to obtain protection from creditors following the financial scandal. So I don't know if you can find the shoe yet, but it seems like what some designer at Nike thought was you could just take Greek font and just spell Nike the same way, but in Greek, Nike is spelled differently. So there you go. So you see the shoe. So on the left shoe, you see is Nike. Right?
Yeah, like that's a sigma at the end where they probably think it's like an E or epsilon or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But in Greek, it's Nik, and then it's like an N looking or H looking letter.
Right. That would sound like a S.
Okay. Right.
Versus an E.
Right.
That's terrible.
I was going to say, can we just start at the fact that the shoes are just awful?
So
First
that's
and
true.
foremost,
That tongue is, I don't know what the hell. I guess that's supposed to mimic the wings of it or whatever. It looks,
man, look,
it looks
some
dumb.
ideas are good ideas, but they should just be
It's
left
good in
better
theory.
as ideas.
You know what I'm saying?
I know Jeremy Scott somewhere laughing.
Apparently, they about to.
That looks really familiar.
He got his deal with Adidas back. They're supposed to be re-releasing some Jeremy Scotts.
Oh, Lord.
my goodness.
Wings, bones, all that.
So Dub Staples, you have a chance. Look, so basically, so here's my problem with that shoe. Like, you're a company whose identity is derived from the Greek goddess Nike. You mean to tell me that you coming out with a shoe to pay homage to that and you couldn't do your due diligence?
I see both sides of this, and they fucked up and need to correct it. But what would actually look like Nike, what would actually sound like Nike would not look like the English Nike.
But that's the point, though.
And I'm saying the designer made a mistake, but there's no way they thought that was correct. They had to have known.
I'm pretty sure somebody at Nike
That just cosmetically looks like Nike. It just doesn't sound
I'm
like
pretty sure
Nike.
somebody in Nike was in a Greek, fraternity or sorority, so they know some of the letters and spellings. Like you knew with
Like
how
iota capt is right, sigma is wrong. The first one I don't even know.
I'm not even. But here's my thing though. I'm not even surprised because look how they do. They do some of the issues that they came across with other collections, Black history, Puerto Rican. Like
100%.
It was only one collection that didn't. Well, they got kind of messed up, but
No,
they fixed it. They ain't messed it up since.
That Be True collection, they seem to hit on every time.
They had one small issue with the triangle, whatever, but they fixed that, and it's been spotless.
I forgot about that issue,
but they've been spotless ever since. But it's just some things. It's just like you have to.
No, I ain't mean to cut you off.
We just gotta respect it.
To your point, this goes back to what we were talking about storytelling. When you were just rushing designs out there just to pump product out, you're going to have issues like this. And like I said, it's not a big issue. It's just this goes to what I be saying all the time is that Nike's the #1 brand in the world, but sometimes they make some of the dumbest mistakes where you're like, how? Like, this is so easy to avoid, right? If you're going to base a shoe off of the Greek goddess Nike and you're going to spell your name, I would think somebody was like, well, just as a reference, how do you spell Nike in Greek? So you can properly tell that story. So even if people don't know, what people are going to say? What is this? And then you can tell them. You can tell them. That's what storytelling is, right? You put Nike in Greek, people don't know what it is. They're either going to look it up or they're going to ask the question. And then that allows somebody to tell that story for Nike because Lord knows Nike's not going to tell it. So, I mean, we say this, I'm almost like, I feel like I'm just like the horse ain't even there no more. I'm just beating the imprint of the horse in the ground at this point because it's just, once again, if you actually cared about storytelling, you would avoid mishaps like this. American versus, I can't read that, that's too small.
American
I feel like
US brand
with ancient Greek.
We all sound remedial.
Ancient Greek, GR name, manufactured in China, CN, and distributed globally. Nationally, symbols mean a lot to people.
They do. And it was funny because my initial reaction when I saw somebody created it, what did they create? A petition online. My initial reaction was like, oh my God, another petition. But then I thought about, and then Guru kind of touched on it, where if this was a Black History Month collection and they didn't get something right, that they could have easily, this speaks to the level of care and effort that I always talk about. Because if you don't even care about telling your own story, because Lord knows you're not going to tell somebody else's story right. So
I guess you just have to put it, when we say Nike, it's more so who was involved in this project, who okayed it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we mean by when we say Nike. So we don't want somebody in football or soccer to be held accountable for a footwear,
100%.
But
it's a when you have people working for you, they become a representation. Like when we say something on the show, they might say Guru, they might say C's, they might say Gino, but most people are going to say what they said on the sneaker box, Dunks. They might, you know what I'm saying? They're going to say,
felt left out there, huh?
They're going to say the sneaker box said.
Welcome to being Black.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, we look at this shoe.
Y'all out of control.
Just to my mind, not my heart does. But, when, we looking at this shoe, and I agree with you. Like, it sucks that, like, all of Nike is going to get shit for this because, it was just one design team who fucked up, not the entire company. But this does speak to a larger problem about storytelling because, like I said, this is your own story. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is your own story.
How hard is it to do checks and balances?
A simple Google search
before it even goes into production.
Because me, if I'm making a shoe, first of all, I would get rid of that tongue. That tongue would not exist in the shoe. But beyond that, if I was a part of that design team, I would like, okay, well, how do you spell Nike in Greek? I would have looked that up. I would have came across, because I'm not walking around with that knowledge, right? But I would look it up. Somebody just thought, hey, we can just use Greek font and spell it the exact same way as if it's like, no. Like, first of all, the Greek didn't speak English, so why would they spell in the English? Dog, like that would be my first thing. Like,
but you got to understand, like the person who's over this project, who's the senior vice president or whoever okayed the release of the shoe, when they looked at it and they was like, oh, Nike on the back. Like from them,
right.
this is where it comes into being aware of culture and even not even other cultures, but just of your company's origin, of his name and everything like that, you be like, okay, oh, Nike, how do you spell? Oh, did we spell this right? But you're looking at it from a person who's assessing it. You got to look from a guy who say, okay, this shoe's nice, it's white, okay, got the wings on the tongue. Oh, they say Nike in the back. Okay, that looks dope, let's release it. Not being cognizant of the culture. That's what happens when you don't respect other people's culture. You just look at product by itself.
Yep.
Like, that's what you have to say. When you make a Martin Luther King shoe, was it okay? Did we find okay by his family estate? Is everything spelled correctly? Like the same initiative they took with the Atlanta Hawks jersey with that MLK stuff, you have to take that with everything that you're not a part of. But when you've made so much money and you become of it, you think that, okay, this is what it is, or they'll get it. Like, no, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You can't be that. Because, and my thing is, you could have had some. You had offices over there. Hey, send them this shoe. Is everything correct on the shoe? Are we disrespecting or thinking about anything out of Greek culture? Are we? Like, you could have did that.
Right. Is that shoe already out? Has it been released?
I think it's supposed to be coming out. I don't know if it's
hopefully
released
there's
yet.
still time. Like, hopefully they're listening.
I mean, the shoes are already made. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're still going to drop them.
There goes some resale value for you.
There you go.
I got to get a pair.
But no, I mean, it's, and like I said, I don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill, but like I said, I think this is just a microcosm of a bigger issue that we've always talked about, and that's doing your due diligence, avoiding the dumb mistakes that you can easily avoid. You're the number one brand in the world, and sometimes y'all act like the number 5 brand in the world with shit like this. Like, I expect to see some shit like that from Under Armour. Sorry, Under Armour, but still. You know what I'm saying? Like, it.
But Under Armour ain't gonna do no grease shoes. They ain't gonna do.
They're gonna do some Tom Brady.
They're gonna do
They're gonna make some ghetto shoes.